Hello, comrades. It's Premier Rever here once again, and I have used my powers of supreme leadership to place my city in a state of suspended animation. There's actually a couple reasons for that, but things are going well. It's really not very long after the last episode. I don't know exactly, a couple days or weeks at the most. We do have some coal production. If we take a look, and if we look at this month, it's not overly impressive in some ways, but hey, we're making $7,000 despite having, what's that, close to 10,000 there. And yeah, it's certainly when you add these little bits and pieces of what we used for cement and gravel and such, we certainly take 10,000 off. So even in just a partial month, we've made, in the neighborhood of 7,000. Now last month, let's go back to this. Last month, only 7,000 total, but we spent 47,000 on things. I'm sure some of that was the construction of these houses and such. We have one or two houses that are getting a little overcrowded, like we went over at the last episode, but I'm not even going to worry about that. I want to start, it's not that we're going to stop working over here. We'll keep improving this, but I think, this is doing what I wanted to do. We're making enough money that we can now maybe spread our wings a tiny bit. And by spread our wings, I sent out a scouting report, or scouting team. And this is, by the way, the reason that I put it in suspended animation. All I did was use the delete tool. So I came over here to construction, in particular this gravel and coal, and you'll see why, or actually oil, depends on which one. And I just took the delete tool and I just drew on the map. Now the problem is that turns back to green. It gets rid of the trees, but it turns back to green, and I wanted to show you guys what I did. So the other thing I want to do is say that there's not many clouds right above us right now, so if we choose to zoom out in a minute, it'll be good. So I had turned on the wireframe tool, which I'll keep back off for now, and just looked for places that were relatively not so steep that we could probably build some roads. Now again, I'm going to do, for those of you who may not have heard it or missed it in the series, this is like a continuous road series. You're not allowed to, I'm not going to be allowed to just magically go jump to another part of the map, and that's part of the reason I started by NATO, is so that I'm running out of rubles here. I know it's not going down that fast, but I have to be careful about how many vehicles I buy more than anything else, since I can't buy many American vehicles at this point. So in any event, sent out the scouting team, and they found a path over to the next valley. And the next valley I have designated as Energisk, or something like that. Energisk. So the reason for that, and I want to go over this with you guys, and I'll show you what I plan on doing just as far as... So we have our oil tool here, or oil rig, I should say. Look at this. This is nice. This is all oil, this whole thing. So what I thought to do was come in here and just, real quick, like use our level tool to just sort of switch back and forth, or, and then I can mark out where this ends, like that's like orange all the way up into here, but I'll just stay with the yellow and green. So from this like tree line here, and we can easily switch and go, oop, I need a free bulldozer, what? All right, let's do lower train. I need a free excavator, what? All right, let's do delete. So, in this ballpark, and then we can switch back to here and see, are we still getting it? Yep, and then it's going to turn right around here and follow like these tree lines here. Yeah, and then just sort of like a nice semicircle right up through kind of here. I can't keep my eye on the ball as best I can. And then let's just keep going all the way around the circle. So really, like right up here. Close enough. We're not going to necessarily get right on top of it anyway. You know, leave some space for... Okay, I kind of went a little too far that way. That's all right. I think it'll be clear. And also, this is very not permanent. As soon as we... So this is an area that we're going to have oil wells, one way or the other, right? So let me do another little trick. I'm going to come in here, and the majority of the trees are either like these seed bushes, I think they are, or the pine trees. So let's put a whole series of beech trees. A little tedious, but so is the game, right? Yeah, not trying to be that exact, but you know, they don't cost anything. We're getting a little lazy there, aren't I? Make it look a little nice. Try to keep them about an inch apart. That's not an inch. Well, maybe it is with the angle. Yeah, we'll stick another one there. So when we come back here in the future, yeah, I want to make sure I got enough to make it very obvious. Now these will grow, by the way. They're not very impressive at this moment, but they will get bigger. And it'll be as obvious as the nose on my face, I would assume. There we go. So now we know where we have a lot of oil. Now the other reason for really wanting to get into this valley with a town is because of this up here. We have iron behind us, and we have a little tiny bit of coal. But if you look up in here, there is just what I would describe as some excellent... Oh, let's hit the shift, not control. There is some excellent coal, or very good coal anyway, about as good as you're going to generally find on the map. Like all back in here is a little bit, you know, certainly far more than we're dealing with over there. Like if we were to look in this area, you know, let's just take a look too. And we also have like this kind of iron. So we have what really amounts to, you know, not so good over this way, but you know, that's a really nice stretch of iron to get started, and we have it in through here. Now, you know we have good iron over here by town, and that's fine. It's just that you need iron and coal, and our little coal mine over there is just not going to cut it. So what I'm thinking of is, you know, we can probably come in here and figure out a nice place. You know, it's going to be up in the hills a little bit and going to be costly. I want to conduct another experiment. Can I flatten? No, I need a free excavator. What are we working on back there that we don't have a free excavator? Or is it just that I'm too far away? I mean, there's a free excavator right there, right? He doesn't look very busy. It might just be that I'm too far away. And he doesn't look very busy. Oh, work? Yeah, of course we're working. Oh, these guys are doing prefabs? Okay, but you're on the crane portion. You should be free. I guess it's just because we're too far away. I never, you know, whenever I did it before from this far away, I think I was paying the money to do it. But anyway, well, you guys get the idea. So now the problem is we're going to have a little bit of a conflict. You know, we don't want to build our steel mill right there. And what I would say is our prospectors came out. There was two ideas. One is to get into that valley. And if we come back to town here and then turn and face the north. The other one, I've made Gateway Love, which is because it's sort of a gateway to the north, right? And the reason I say gateway is because if we turn back this way, there's Energisk right there. So we could end up with like a town in this area that in order to pay its way, we could probably consider doing some gravel mining up in here, maybe. You know, in order to justify having a town. Now, I hate to ship gravel around the map too much, and it's sort of, you know, what are we going to do with the gravel once we have it? Well, we could make asphalt because we're going to have, you know, this here. We're going to have coal. And by the way, there is another coal. It's not the greatest, but see, there is another coal spot that we could do here. So we could, you know, we could do something like make our cement factory up in here. And this might even be a nice mountain to do. You know, maybe it's this mountain that we do gravel and coal, and we just sort of edge the industrial portion of Gateway Town over this way. And the reason I mentioned all that and cut myself off from the steel mill is maybe what we do with the steel mill is get it going over towards here, you know, so that way as it produces stuff, it sends it more or less this direction. And then with the energy town, you know, we don't want to build our town right in here, you know, so maybe we do right basically where the old Revergrad was from the first episode. And we come in here and we build, you know, like a city kind of area here. And on the left-hand side, as best we can in these hills, it doesn't even have to be in the hills. The oil wells don't take up that much room, but maybe in this area we have, you know, like oil refinery or something like that. And power plant, right? We can have, you know, we could have a power plant somewhere along here. Probably could share an oil, I mean, a coal thing, but we could also, you know, make this an area where we make power, you know. You just have to get the coal over here in good enough quantity, but again, it's just right there. So it's, you know, maybe we put a power plant next to our gravel dispensary. How does that sound to you guys? Does that sound like a plan? And then, like I said, there's no clouds, so let's go zooming on up. Or very few clouds right above us, so we can, hopefully you guys can see that. It's not some cryptic writing, you know, but there's our current town, and we would branch off to the east and west and get into both of those areas, and then, you know, kind of create a town more or less here, and then maybe another one up in this area where we would, you know, have a power plant / gravel. Well, I hope you guys like the plan, because I think that's what we're doing. So the first step in all of that is to get sorted out, you know, where we're heading. And I'm going to start the map up and let these lines fade. I did that for your benefit. We already marked out where the oil is, which is the really kind of the only permanent thing. It would have been nice maybe to level out a spot or two here, you know, where we'd know. But I'm going to remember where to put the coal and the iron. Or we're just going to work it out when we get there. So how does that sound? So unfortunately, it means ignoring this. And I think it means getting up in there and building. Really, what I want the most right now is power and steel. And so I think that means building another coal mine and or iron mine set up over in this region first. And the reason for that is because that'll get us much more affordable rail. You know, and if we don't have rail to move this stuff around, it's going to sink us. Now, the problem with that is we're not really moving towards our objective. So what I think the other dedication I'm going to make is that we are going to plow forward, I think, with getting up to this Molna as our first port. And, you know, this one would be nice, but there's really no benefit to us because this does not have Soviet power. And if I want it, one of the best ways I think I'm going to be able to transfer rubles would be to sell power constantly. You know, so if we need to get rubles, if I turn a power plant on here and put this guy into export mode, we are going to have, you know, a very easy way of transferring wealth. You know, if we can get power up and, you know, get a power line to that guy. So I don't necessarily, in my rules, you know, we just have to have a road up there. We don't have to have a town up there or anything. So if we can end up with a steel mill, we can get, you know, better rail, and we can move around our 3 towns. And then obviously, I guess, I'm sorry, I don't mean to jiggle the screen that much. we can get we can get a rail line eventually up to this Molna after we get the power line and the road. That's another thing is I generally won't. I'm going to try not to trailblaze with railroads too much, at least not in the beginning here. But we'll see. We'll see how that statement goes. But we're definitely going to, build a road up there as opposed to skipping the whole distance and just putting a town and a power plant up there or something like that. But I don't think there's much coal right there, not like there is down here. So we're going to take advantage of a bunch of coal along this ridge and a bunch of iron back here. And eventually maybe we'll even take advantage of the iron over here, though that's sort of getting far away. All right, well, let's get started on how we're going to do this. And then, so what I would like to do is basically set up this guy here to be like just a road building crew. I don't really want to mess with what this guy has already. We're not going to do paved roads. We don't have to worry. Over here we have a roller and a bulldozer. It's called a flattener. Well, we do have to worry about a bulldozer, but we don't really have anything extra. Fortunately, we already have an excavator. So I don't want to take anything away from these guys because that'll just handicap this town too much. And it's fine that this guy's already in here, but I think we should get a couple more vehicles. Now, there's none that we can purchase from the Americans, so we're going to have to go to here. And I think that we're definitely going to want another bulldozer, right? At least we'll have two, even though we're just general. Do we even need a bulldozer? I don't know that we do need a bulldozer, other than I guess we're going to need to level things. All right, let's get it. It's $3,000. It'll come in handy. All right, so what else are we going to need? We're not going to need a roller. We're not going to need a paver, but we're going to need some dumpers. Because in order to get gravel, we're going to haul it to these roads, right? So let's get 3 dumpers. Yeah, that's going to be the biggest problem. But we'll see. We may end up building like a gravel dump, I guess you could call it. I don't know if it'll be worth doing that or not. Meaning a place that we could just run gravel to. It's a shame they don't have like bigger gravel trucks. Well, I guess it's called a train, isn't it? So we'll see. So we get the dumpers, and that's really, believe it or not, that's kind of all you need. I mean, the road crew would normally have the roller and the asphalt paver, but we really don't need that. I mean, if anything, we'll just eventually I might end up increasing the number of dumpers, and then we'll have to send out a crew once in a while to build a new. We're going to need a new base eventually because these guys are just going to be going so far. They got to go so far for gravel anyway. So, all right, anyway, let's get out of town. How's that sound? And so while we're in town, let me do one more thing. So we have, I think I'm going to move the paver for now because I do want to kind of pave my way a tiny bit out of town. And then the other one that I want to move is the roller. Alright, so now alright, are we ready to start time? I think we are. If we lose our paths there, it's fairly obvious in some ways the best way to go. Plus I cut all the trees down. So it should be obvious enough. So I'm going to try to build a road up into here. And you know what? I changed my mind. I'm not even going to show you guys because I think you're all smart enough to figure it out. Maybe I'll just do the first part. Alright, so we're just going to have a regular paved road until we get, a bit out of town. So, yeah, you know what? Unfortunately, so this is the hospital. I want to make kind of a 90-degree turn. Yeah, I guess we'll just come right along this. Well, that ridge may not be the best place. I'm going to come right up here. The problem is going to get, I can get past the hospital. All right, I'm not on auto build. Right, So that's about as much paved road as we're going to do. I'm going to come in here and do, say, get rid of that portion. And then I can say, mark that. Alright, so from this point on, what I'm going to do is we'll stay straight for a while because this may become part of town. You know what I want to do? I do want to look at this. I don't want to do a lot of, it's not going to let me. Oh no, that's right, because I'm closer and I'll come more or less in there. So I'm going to build it to be, you know, a fairly reasonable road here. I do plan on, you know, moving this, whatever we need through here as opposed to any place else. Just trying to get it a little bit, you know, not all county wampus. There you go. So we'll probably put, you know, that road kind of straight. There you go. And the market is done, and then we'll set our road crew to come up here and pave this portion, and then we'll gravel this up, and I'll just, you know, continue this thought. You know, I think you know, we'll go to the energy town first because that's where we're going to build the steel mill. So yeah, and at some point, I don't know, do we put a construction depot like up here? You know, we'll see the extent to which I'm willing to run dump trucks back and forth. But I guess we're going to have to run them up there to get the gravel, aren't we? Until we get a gravel quarry on the other side. So that's going to be a long slog, which it's okay. We'll have other things to do here while those roads are getting built. And we'll just have that separate crew that shouldn't interfere with this one. It'll just be costing us money. There you go. All right, let me plug away at it, and when I get this set up and we're ready to do the next thing, I'll come back. Alright, our road crews have a plan. So I went and used the road tool to, I think you can maybe see there's a more level line here, but I also used the tool. By the way, if you want to get rid of rocks, use the thing. It's a little bit cheaty, I guess, but you know, if I were building a road like this, I would use dynamite, you know, like to cut out a valley like that to make the road at least somewhat steeper. So we kind of took off the top of the hill here and then down into there. Now when I start getting to about here, it starts saying, oh, you need a free excavator in order to level the ground more. So I'm not sure. I may end up paying for rubles or paying for dollars to, you know, excavate just the road so it's flat-ish. You know, we're not going to go into, see, you can see our nice row of trees there. Probably even come in here. And, oh, it's not going to let me, is it? Yeah, see, it's not going to let me level this without paying for it. And just to delete the, oh, you know what, I can bulldoze the trees, can't I? Sort of works, doesn't it? So whoever made the map wasn't the most energetic person, was it? You could tell they had some kind of clicker on when it came to the trees, you know, like, look, you know. Oops, I think I deleted one of our trees, huh? There you go. So all the trees are clear and energy disk. That'll turn back to green in no time. All right, well, that's not the reason I came back, but I did want to show you that, You know, I have these guys now plowing away literally with the gravel. But I also came down here and thought about, I have one house somewhere over here. Yeah, 63 people. We're far from ready to expand, but I wanted to show you, since the last episode, we have now built up coal. Now, this whole works is about to slow down, but, and right now, of course, when I go to show you, oh, that's the processing. Coal ore, oh, you saw it flashing 21 tons, 22 tons, so we're getting up there. So our money is ticking up nicely. I think we're going to build this power plant, and you know, as soon as I build the power plant, it's going to suck people away. And we have this bus stop here, so we could have like 2 bus stops potentially. Well, 2 other bus stops feeding this one that would feed the power plant and this. And I would like to put in some houses right down here. Now, if I were more forward thinking, I would have had a nice straight road right down here without a store right in the middle of it. So I actually leveled out a little area here. I want to come into residential, make sure small store. I'm going to turn that off for now. No, don't auto purchase. And I'm going to put a small store right in here. Let's get it up towards this road, so it's kind of in line with the other ones. That's as close as I could put it. So I'm going to put another small store in there. Now the problem that we're going to have is, I don't think all of these people may be able to get to this one, but I kind of need to bulldoze this small store in order to make all of that happen. So we want to be kind of quick about this little improvement here. So let me just even cheat and pause time. And this is kind of painful. Yeah, I want you to delete that building. All right. Let's just play time until it deletes the actual rubble too. There we go. So now I'm going to delete this because it's sort of not necessarily the straightest little bit there. And we're just going to try to take a road straight down here, which means I really should probably delete this guy because it's almost certainly going to be in the way. That's this one. Now I'm going to make this an asphalt road. Well, can I just upgrade a portion of it? So that's like dead straight, right? Can I just come here and say I only want... Yeah, okay. Yeah, this will be towns and whatnot. And then it'll just sort of... you know what, I want to do something else. Don't do that. What I want to do is this road. First, let's go back here. Education. I was looking at the different buildings, and I can go with our standard, but the standard, you know, I don't know. I'm not going to necessarily get 2 with the power lines there, and I thought, why don't we go just for something completely different, you know? And I was looking at the different flats. What was the one? This guy holds 100 workers, which is more than this guy holds. He's made of largely of brick, and you know, so he uses more brick than prefab. But I could kind of wedge this guy in. I could put a number of these guys in here, and it would just be something different, if nothing else. All right. Now we need to leave enough room for a road, so let's go. I think that's going to be pretty good. We'll delete this in a second. Just want to make sure it all lines up. I don't really want you to attach to that one. I'd rather you attach to this one. But, you know, I tend to think that'll be... Yeah, so we'd only get 2 in there. I think we'd get more of the other ones, wouldn't we? Yeah, the other ones are my favorite for that reason. let's see. Too. All right, pause stop, play stop. Yeah, see these are, you know, so we could only get 2 of those at 200, and if we build a road out this way, again, even if, we might even be able to jam a third. I don't know if I'm worried about jamming that many in. I think we could do a road like this. See, there's 150. 225. Can we get the third one in? Come on, do it, do it. Exactly the straightest row of houses I ever built, but and then we could get in a nice fancy. Yeah, so we could get a road in like right here. And all those attach up. This guy wouldn't like it, but I bet you we can we get him in here? No. Can I go a little bit longer? So it's not. Yeah, so that's going to be a bit of a problem. Where would you want to go? Like, would you be willing to go? Just not willing to go. How can we do this? Just get a little section like that, and then let's we're gonna delete all of this. Delete power. Let's go to paused. Oh yeah. I deleted my power lines. All right. So what we're gonna do is fancy section like this. Come out here. Yeah. So we'll just build that first. Do we want to? Yeah, you know what? Let's delete it again. Well, we've already lost our power lines. So what I want to, I'm just thinking about it. You know what? Let's start out with an asphalt one. Yeah, why wouldn't we do that, right? And then go back from here. Yeah, and we'll be able to do that. All right, so now, yeah, I'm going to do that later. Just because the first thing I want to do is just tell them two jobs right here. You know, I just really being cheap by not putting the power poles down to there. I think I am. So let's. I just want this to be one road job. Yeah, you know what? I think I'm just going to do the power poles. As a matter of fact, I'm even going to do show reference lines. Is that road's really not that straight anyway, is it? And I can't back up anymore. Not let me attach other places. Let's see, how's that look? I can't see. Let's go from the other side. Yeah, you know what? That whole road's on a little bit of an angle anyway. It's fine. Get too. It won't attach anywhere else close. I don't want to do it there. That's fine. So we now have a road with power lines. So that'll be just one job right there. And then once this is in as one job, then I can put these back in. Then we can build those houses. But first priority will be to get this road paved and then get this in here. So now fortunately our second construction crew over here is not busy at all. So let's say go ahead and do that. Say go ahead and do that, and then we need to get our power back up. And I'm just going to tell them to do that with some dollars. Again, I don't quite understand. It always tells me not attached to a road, so yeah, I think they need to fix that, because something should be built without attachment to the road. So there we go. So for better or for worse, we're going to be without a store for a little bit. Let's play it again and hope that the consequences aren't so grand, you know? So there you go. Oh, one last thing. And then I'll go back to building on my own. But if we come here, the other thing I'm worried about, and I don't think it's going to hurt, even though pubs aren't the greatest thing to have, just because people become alcoholic, I'm going to build a pub right here. I don't want to do it because it's going to attach that road and mess me up. Let's get the road built first, but I'm going to put a pub right there so all these people have a pub. And then I think we'll have room for more houses over this way if we want. Like I said, we have a bus stop right down here for those people, and who knows, maybe we'll even move these power lines for like the third, fourth time. So there we go. City is going in, roads going in, housing expanded for our ever-expanding population, and I'm going to keep plugging away, and I'll be back, I don't know, we'll see. You know, I think this is pretty self-explanatory. Hopefully we can, we'll save up some money. How much is a power plant going to cost us? 287 steel, so that's going to be the big number. What did our steel price go up to, I wonder? Because it was going up, 725. So I don't know if that has to do with us buying stuff, or if it just goes up and down on its own without us influencing it. I've never quite figured it out, but you know, steel is getting much more expensive, so one more reason to be driving up over the hill, right? So we'll see. But so what is that? 300. Let's call it 300,000 steel times 0.7 is going to be like 210,000 in steel. But it may be worth it, you know. So let's get this set up, and then probably come back if we, if we definitely decide that. But I think just looking at this, I think this is being limited by how much this guy is using. So the good news is we've got bricks completely, and we're gonna have to come back for that. So I think it might be worth it, but I don't want brownouts. So let's get this population in the area up, so we know we always got a good feed of people into here. Matter of fact, all of these people may just go right to work in the power plant. So we'll see. All right, I will talk to you guys in a bit. All right, we have a power problem. If we take a look at this, it's paused. Let's play it. This looks okay, right? But if we come here, even though I up the wattage, see how that thing's flashing? Let me come over to this and look at this. So we've got an issue, and I think most likely it's something to do with the fact that we've ramped up this guy. Look how his voltage is just dropping off. So what I want to do is pause it again. And these, especially with the fact we put these here, I think, we have this switch here. I'm not sure that we really need it, because it's not like we can't take advantage of the ports on this guy, right? Like, we should be able to come in and go down here and then have another one come around and go up. And then we already have, see, like this guy, he's not even being used. He's just sort of abandoned. And then we also have the high voltage possibility. Now, all of this, mostly because of the wonkiness of the game, I'm probably just going to pay dollars for it. It's like we're going to hire an outside company. We're not technical enough to do it ourselves. So let's come in here and close this up and come over to the medium voltage section. And for now, I'm not going to get into the high voltage stuff. I think what I'd like to do is delete this line. deleting anything else, hopefully. Very good. Delete that. Very good. Just watch it like that it clicks through, you know? It's like a bullet that goes through the other side of the wall. Let's turn this way so we don't click. Well, no, we do want to click. Let's just get rid of this. At least up to there. Alright, so now what we want to do is come into here. This. I'm going to try to... Yeah, so we can come off of that. So we're just going to tuck him in tight to the border. So actually you can build right on the border, can't you? Ah, that was... I did two, so it cost me. See, like, this one cost you... We're not building it with dollars. Well, it's going to cost more if we have two posts just like that. So I'm going to just do one post, I hope. And I want to come down here and let's go back to there. We'll power this guy up. Can I get right to it? Of course not. That should work. There we go. So that should get power kind of out of the way as it's ever going to be. And let's pay for that with dollars. Now we have the situation. We have another situation too. So I'm not exactly sure how to work this out, but if you see, my excavator is plugging his way up the hill here, and that is because, or maybe down the hill, we have put in a gas station. So he's probably going back down the hill. I'll show you where we're at. There's energy disk. And so we're really at the top of the hill here. And I can no longer excavate things. And rather than be too cheaty about it, I thought, well, if we're going to be coming back and forth here, having a gas station up here is not a bad idea. And I also put in a construction office. So we'll have a little stopover point. We can move all our equipment up here, and who knows, we may probably not use it, but to me it's sort of part of the expense of getting into this area. And yeah, it may just be abandoned for the most part, but these need power. So I don't think they need much power, but I think we need to run them some power lines. So we need a substation, and probably should put the substation. No, we're not on dollars, because this I'm going to try to build. Okay, let's put the switch in first. So we're going to have power coming up the hill. Yeah, these things really kind of face the wrong way, don't they? Yeah, so we're going to have power coming up the hill. Oh, can't build there because it's too close to the road. There we go. Right, so now we'll have that. And then we'll need a substation. You know, it could be anywhere in this general vicinity. And at this point, we're not going to need any power, so we'll do the littlest power poles. Those I'll construct like that. Just for the sake of not crashing the game, I'll probably just construct that little road like that. But let's see if we can't be a little bit authentic. And how can we get this guy around this way? No, how about this way? Jeez Lord. All right, well, you know what? You're out of hand. I find that not totally unrealistic, quite honest with you. You know, like when you do see those little shacks, they almost always have a gravel or a dirt road out to them so that they can do service on them. So that's good. So we'll be able to construct those legitimately. Now, as far as our power goes, how big a line do we run down the hill? You know, I don't plan on being over here too long before we get power going. But I think it might be wise to just run the medium poles anyway. You know, these other ones don't carry very much, you know. So let's just run, you know, parallel to our road like you'd see anywhere. Let's go down there so I can see. Yeah. Let's go down here again. We'll kind of maximize out the spacing of those. I can barely see, but see enough. Alright, so now that we're down here, how do we get power reasonably to this thing, you know? And I don't really want to cut through the middle of town, but I am thinking, well, this guy doesn't have anything on him, but I don't really want to. I'd rather take off of here, you know. Yeah, and this guy's kind of already in the way. So the thing to do, maybe to just cut right up through here, huh? Just looking at it. Kind of because I can. It's not real pretty, but if I keep it, well, see, we're going to probably end up with houses through there, but maybe I'll just do it some other way. You know, not pretty, but relatively direct. What I will do, though, is let's take these up into the woods. And then over. Too tight an angle. We can handle that. So what do you guys think of that? What is that going to cost? $25,000. So be it. Not Soviet, but so be it. All right, there we go. Well, we got a power line up there. Ouch. We should have this fixed. And we got a couple other construction projects to get power up there. There you go. So I didn't want to do that without you guys. Let's start power back up. Now, does that fix the problem? The voltage is dropping, so that's probably... Well, we're buying 4, and we're only using 1. So is it... Now, is this guy still fluctuating like he was before? No, because he doesn't have any power. Alright, let's pause again. What did I do? Where the heck am I? Building is without... I deleted... That's right, I deleted this. But this guy's abandoned. So let's see, can we get... And once again, more money, more money, more money, more money. That's great. Alright, now how do we go? Look, nice steady power. Nice steady power, yep. Running without issues, very good. So the power's not dropped. So we fixed that problem, and then we won't know until this gets built whether this substation will have power, but and the switch. But I see no reason that it won't. And if I do, I will just fix it, probably without you guys even knowing. How's that sound for a deal? All right, well, let me keep plugging away. I took a little more time. This is going to get to be a long episode if I don't shut up. So I will be quiet for a bit, and I'd like to, the goal of the episode for me is to get up over this hill and have another construction thing somewhere, probably as far away from this one as I can level ground, you know, up towards the other ridge over there. That way that construction can cover just a lot of what we're doing over in this area. All right, talk to you guys in a minute. I am a bit concerned, and my concern has to do with my population, and in particular, the number of uneducated people that we have. Let's look at this year. Hopefully that'll, even though it's not that much into this year. We have about 1,000 uneducated people, and I keep buying teachers and plopping them in this building here, and we need to get away from that. We more or less have enough money, I think, well, I think we do. We definitely have enough money to complete this technical university, and I mean, I can buy more power. I know I keep talking about power and coal and all, and I know we just spent all that effort ramping up our coal production, but if I keep having to buy people, I'm going to run out of ruble, or teachers, or educated people. So I need to get this university going. And in addition, our construction people over here aren't doing anything, or at least nothing significant towards the good of the Soviet Republic that we have here. Doesn't connect. Okay, well, we can fix that. I've taken to, now that I have a little bit more money, just because it's so darned annoying. Yeah, we didn't reconnect that road at all. Let's give them a fancy road. I don't like that. Is that going to make it straighter? No, that's my one choice. Okay. Just because it causes so many crashes, just to fund it with dollars on these little tiny stretches. It seems like they do worse on the little tiny stretches. So there we go. Now we should be able to assign this guy nice and bright green. And so this construction, which should take a good while, but at least we'll have a university going. It'll cost us a lot of money as well. Another thing I need to do. These guys don't actually need workers. So do we have a bus in? No, we took the bus back out of here. Smart. So in other words, these guys will sit here plugging away on this road here without any people, as long as there's a mechanism on there. So that's a big bonus. Maybe a little cheaty, but I don't know. Hopefully they count the worker against me. Now, I cut right across our oil field with the road thinking, well, hopefully where I put the oil wells doesn't want to go right where this road is. I have a feeling maybe I'll put one here. They don't take up, they can cover a big area, but they don't really actually take up that much space in this whole area. So what I'm thinking is we build a road here, and then on this side, let's say like this road's a bit of a dividing line down the middle. We'll have oil coming here and some kind of oil storage production, either maybe even on this flat spot here. And then we kind of have a bit of a flat spot over here. And again, we can encroach on this if we don't want to run conveyors too far, but we have our iron and good coal over here. So we have iron and coal mine coming down into coming down into, well, life, I guess, the steel production maybe down here. See how much room it takes up. No need to make too long a conveyor, but I want to make sure that we can one day maximize this out, so I don't want to jam things up too tight for no reason. But there you go. I think I'm going to end the episode here, or pretty shortly here. I think you guys get an idea. We've broken into the other valley, which is wonderful. It's kind of taken me longer than I expected in some ways, but then we got a little, workable structure here. I'm refilling this one up. I'm also going to use, Oh, by the way, here's why you refill things. If we were to purchase with dollars, it's going to cost us an extra 19, for this gas station. So I went and bought a cistern truck, wherever he is. There he is. That was convenient. Thank you, buddy. So he's just right now going to top this one off. And then I'm also going to put this one on his stop. You can see I put a little extra fuel in there already. But this one only cost us an extra $3 per load. And we're getting fuel out of this guy, this loading platform, just buying it directly into here. So that's working out fairly well. And when we buy it here, it only costs us an extra $2.50 to get it delivered from there to there. So I don't know if it's. I hope that they balance the game well enough that effort's worth it. So when we come back, we should have a university set up, and what I will probably do, the only other thing to mention I think that I might do between the episodes is get a similar setup like this, get the power lines run down, and get another little setup here. You see I even started leveling just to make sure I could, so just with that construction thing, we're still close enough to, to build a little gas station and construction hub here, and I think that'll be a good, relatively close. Now the other thing I'll do here too is do like an open yard storage and a mechanical storage and ship things in from over here. So in other words, we'll ship in a bunch of whatever. Might even put some aggregate storage here. Now I'll try to tie it into where we'll put permanent storage for construction, but so the storages may end up in a more logical place than right here. But anyway, well, there you go. I hope you liked it. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you guys in the next episode.